Today I'll be talking about a topic that's been specifically talked about in the past decades, and that's illegal immigration. So recently, illegal immigrants have been depicted in a negative way. They've been told to be ruining this economy, they're taking your jobs. They avoid paying taxes and they're just feeding off of social welfare and they're just creating more debt. And that these illegal immigrants are, quote unquote, bringing nothing but their murderers and rapists to this country, as you can tell by the famous Donald Trump. So today I would actually be telling you guys how illegal immigrants actually have a positive impact on the U.S. For my first claim, I'll be telling you guys how illegal immigrants actually help the economy. So first, there was a project called the Pew Hispanic Trends Project. According to their study, there were 8.4 million unauthorized immigrants employed in the U.S. They represent 5.2% of the U.S. labor force, and that was in 2000. A Texas comptroller named Susan Combs stated that without the undocumented population, Texas workforce would decrease by 6.3%, and the Texas gross state product would decrease by 2.1%. They were telling us how the U.S. economy, like agriculture, are entirely dependent upon illegal immigrants. With this, you can see that illegal immigrants are actually helping the economy by helping with the production line. Next, we have the U.S. Department of Agriculture. A man by the name of H.A. Goodman, who is an author and journalist who studied international relations at USC and worked for a brief stint at the U.S. Department of State's Foreign Service Institute, stated that about half of the hired workers employed in the U.S. crop agriculture were unauthorized, mostly of them coming from Mexico. But this is another detail showing how illegal immigrants are actually providing the backbone for labor force. The USDA actually told that the reality, however, is that if we deported a substantial number of undocumented farm workers, there would be a tremendous labor shortage. This is just another detail showing us how illegal immigrants are really helping out the economy by helping out and showing that they're very vital in the production line since they offer most of the workforce. In overall numbers, the Department of Labor reports that 2.5 million farm workers in the U.S., over half, which is 53%, are illegal immigrants. So any immigration reforms that would exist or be done would cause a huge labor shortage in the economy, which would lead to low production and lead to high costs and inflation. Now, leading to the economy, we're all part of this economy, we all have to pay taxes. So that goes to my second claim, that illegal immigrants actually do pay taxes. In 2007, the Congressional Budget of Office stated that over the past 2 decades, most efforts to estimate the fiscal impact of immigration in the United States have concluded that tax revenues of all types generated by immigrants, both legal and unauthorized, exceed the cost of the services they use. According to the New York Times, the chief actuary of the Social Security Administration claims that undocumented workers have contributed close to 10% of the Social Security Trust Fund. That's actually $300 billion. So what that states that illegal immigrants aren't actually just coming over to the U.S. and just feeding off of social welfare and not doing anything to contribute. They're actually providing most of the Security Trust Fund here in the U.S. In 2012, the Institute of Taxation provided that roughly 8.1 million of 11.4 million undocumented immigrants paid more than $11.8 billion in state and local taxes in 2012, even while they were living illegally in this country. The Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy also ran another test where it also concluded that the 11.4 million undocumented immigrants currently living in the U.S. collectively paid 11.84 billion in state and local taxes in 2012. Also, in 2012, $845 million went under full implementation of the administration, and in 2014, executive actions were actually given $2.2 billion under comprehensive immigration reform. So with all the money that's being contributed, there's actually a tax contribution range on illegal immigrants over the U.S. In Montana, which holds the least illegal immigrants, and the contribution was 3.2 million from an undocumented population of 6,000. And then in California, 3.1 million immigrants actually contributed $3.2 billion. So just for showing that, it shows that illegal immigrants actually pay taxes, even though most people say that illegal immigrants don't. They're just feeding off of the U.S., they don't contribute, they avoid taxes. And well, since illegal immigrants are actually paying taxes, you know, that is a law here in the U.S. So that actually shows that illegal immigrants are actually law-abiding, which brings to my third claim that illegal immigrants are law-abiding. So actually, in the U.S., illegal immigrants are actually known for being less, affiliated with jails. Foreign-born individuals exhibit remarkably low levels of involvement of crime across their life course. And according to studies, the illegal immigrants on average have less crime rates than the average U.S. American citizen. First-generation illegal immigrants that come from other countries into the U.S. are actually less likely to provoke and create any crimes due to them coming to work or just to have a better living. The second generations of these illegal immigrants that are born here are actually more likely to become involved with crime, and they're actually still below the percentage of natives here in the U.S. Also, in the United States, those who are incarcerated that are illegal immigrants is 1.6%, which is less than the percentage of U.S.-born men who are in prison, which is actually 3.3%. Also, the reasons why that 1.6% are behind bars are because of immigration offenses. And I do understand when people say that, but crossing the border illegally, that's against the law. But actually, that's actually a misdemeanor. So it's not really looked at as that serious. Also, a news report from the Immigration Policy Center notes that while the illegal immigration population in the U.S. more than tripled between 1990 and 2013, FBI data indicates that the violent crime rate declined 48%. This includes falling rates of aggravated assault, robbery, rape, and murder. The property crime rate also fell 41%, including declining rates of motor vehicle theft, larceny, robbery, and burglary. Which this shows that just because a lot of people were saying that more illegal immigrants were going to come to the country, so a lot more crime was going to exist, that actually showed that there was no correlation between that. Just because the numbers of illegal immigrants grew did not necessarily mean that crime was going to go up. Also, to show that illegal immigrants actually using the data from the 2010 census, their report found that in 2010, only 1.6% of foreign-born males were in jail, compared with 3.3% again for native-born population. And in each case, they found that undocumented immigrants were less likely to commit violent crimes than native-born immigrants. Now, with this, I've shown you guys that illegal immigrants actually do help this economy. They do contribute by paying taxes, and they are less likely to commit crime versus the natives who actually are at 3.3%, whereas illegal immigrants are at 1.6%. And with this, I conclude that illegal immigrants actually leave a positive impact on the U.S. Thank you.
The proposition's clearly identified, but you phrase it, you present it at the beginning like it's a narrative instead of, it's the same sort of thing that a lot of people do. I'm going to show you how this is true. No, make a declarative statement that it is true. That's the better way of doing it. There's no preview of what the supporting structure is going to be, so we're going to have to pick that up as we go along. I know that there was a distinct first point, but I couldn't tell you what the claim was on it. The second and the third points were much more distinct, and I thought that you had good transitions on those points, so that helps internally structure the speech a bit. On the evidence, I thought you presented consistent sources on the information that you're giving us. You have a lot of statistical data that you're providing. Sometimes it's a little bit repetitive because I heard the same data 2 or 3 times making a similar argument. You want to be careful about that, and you can be a lot more efficient that way. The testimony evidence is also pretty good. I do think that you need to deliver your speech a little bit more effectively. You start reading a bit, and a lot more in the last third of the speech than in the beginning of the speech. And the presentation was 9 minutes, so it's basically 50% overtime. All right, thank you.